I think our next speaker is going to be Mrs. Chong Siak Ching, and she will talk about, is India ready for REITs, as I think I talked about it, and her experiences of building a business in India. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I consider myself very lucky to be among this distinguished panel and to be able to speak to such a distinguished audience. But I consider myself even luckier to have been given the opportunity 17 years ago, that is way back in 1994, to go to India and to Bangalore in particular, to develop what was Singapore's first G2G, a government-to-government project with India, and what was also India's first IT park. The Bangalore IT Park project was born out of a suggestion by our then Prime Minister Goh Chok Tong, way back in 1992, just after the opening up of India, to the then Prime Minister of India, Mr. Narasimha Rao, to share Singapore's experience in developing industrial infrastructure to support the economic growth of India. This was in line with Singapore's regionalization initiative, which started off with Indonesia, India, followed on with China and Vietnam. And we were very lucky to have Mr. Philip Yeo, who was then chairman of EDB Singapore, Mr. Ratan Tata, chairman of the Tata Group, who conceived the idea of an IT park in Bangalore, and with the support of the government of Karnataka. And through their vision and passion, provided the leadership for the project. So that was the start of the strategic engagement between Singapore and India at the political and at the business level. And the first bridge between Singapore and India was built. 17 years ago, Whitefield, where IT Park Bangalore is located, was nothing but just grassland, bare ground. Work started in 1995, and year on year, more buildings were added. Every chief minister visited the park giving their support. Every president of India and every prime minister of Singapore, we've only had two since then, had the opportunity to re-engage and use the park as an occasion, every ground break or opening, to discuss what more Singapore can do for India. Today, the park is a vibrant community, home to 27,000 software engineers, 150 companies. In fact, TCS has is one of our anchor tenants with its own building in the park. Our 7th IT building has been completed, and the 8th building is to be commenced soon. What we've brought to Bangalore and to India was an integrated community that had not just IT space, but also supporting amenities like a hotel, the Taj Vivanta, shopping mall, multi-story car park, and many other amenities. Besides providing the necessary hardware, the amenities, the utilities like power, sewage, water treatment plant, etc. What is really important is also the hardware, because here we are dealing with an environment for knowledge workers, software engineers. So we tried to make sure that we took care of the needs of every customer, every employee within the park, and address all the various conveniences for them. We also had to have our own fleet of buses to connect the park with the rest of Bangalore. So we run a fleet of almost 200 buses every day, ferrying workers to and from the park to supplement the public transportation, which continues today to be still rather weak and incomplete. But at the same time, we also facilitate the ambitions of every worker there to own a car, and therefore we've built probably what's the most nicest looking multi-story car park in Bangalore. And we tried to make sure that the environment is almost like a home, a second home to the employees in the park. We have a lot of activities, rock concerts, even football games, cricket games on the ground, and a lot of fun and life in the park. So what was just grassland way back in 1994, Whitefield today is a thriving suburban center, and IT Park Bangalore, we're proud to say, has catalyzed the development. And the yellow dot that you see is the park, quite remote from civilization then, and today the population has grown and almost completely absorbed the park within its midst. Ascendas has continued to replicate the success in Bangalore across the rest of India. We've expanded to Hyderabad, Chennai, Pune, Gurgaon, and Coimbatore. I've probably made more trips to India than back home to my hometown in Penang. So I consider myself an adopted child of India. Well, India has given us many opportunities to introduce new products and services, to innovate, to tap onto the demand for space from companies seeking growth in India, as well as to tap onto capital from investors who want a piece of the India growth story. Like any country, as India's economy grows, the demand for quality real estate will grow. And Ascendas has continued to expand its range of products. Today, we are developing not just IT Park, but industrial township. There will be, our first will be in Chennai, Tamil Nadu, that will cater to manufacturing companies as well. So that brings me to the India REIT story. REIT, or Real Estate Investment Trust, is an investment product for those who would like to invest in real estate in India without being an expert in real estate or an expert on India. So first, a quick introduction of what are REITs. REITs are essentially collective investment schemes that invest in a portfolio of income-generating real estate assets, not unlike unit trusts. They pay out almost all of their dividends, all of their income, providing therefore stable, high dividend payouts, and are often accorded tax flow-through or tax transparency, meaning that the REIT does not pay any tax. Instead, tax is paid at the unit holder's level. And in some jurisdictions like Singapore, it is completely tax-free for the unit holder. It is therefore a very attractive investment product for investors to own real estate without having to fork out huge sums of money, and can be traded almost daily like a stock. It provides for real estate developers capital from a much broader range of investors. REITs offer the benefits of both bonds and equities, and is therefore seen as a hybrid product. High yielding, low volatility, stable growth, because the income is backed by income generating real estate. REITs in all jurisdictions must have clear and transparent regulations and policies so that it can provide confidence and certainty to investors. A well-developed set of policies will improve market transparency and develop the maturity and professionalism in the real estate market, providing benefits to not just real estate owners, developers, but also the investors and then the financial market players.